make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Well, as we all know, the pandemic has done a lot for jobs and businesses, mine including, in that list. And who we have here today is Duane McHodgkins, who has written a couple books. One was just released in June, and I'm really excited to have you on because it's really some teaching moments about business and how to sustain that for yourself. I think we're really working in a way that is getting into making sure you're okay and not that the company you're working for. And I feel like that's really what your first book focuses on. So I want to say hello and welcome to Duane. Hi, Duane.
Hello. Yeah, thanks. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And I want to talk first about kind of what led you to writing your first book, which is Lessons from the Business Heroes of the Pandemic. How did that even come about?
So the idea came during the pandemic, and I work in IT. I've got a computer repair business, and that was one of the industries that was declared essential. So great for me. I was actually busier during COVID than I had been previously. So that was really nice. But I've built my business networking with other business owners. And a lot of those people, a lot of my friends, their businesses were really suffering because everything was shut down. So a lot of them weren't able to work, weren't able to do their businesses. And, I driving around, I just wanted to, I kept thinking to myself, there's got to be something I can do to help this situation. And I saw a couple businesses that had pivoted, that had figured it out. One of them was a local brewery, and they had taken over part of their parking lot and put up some ice fishing tents.
Yeah.
And and
very creative. Yes,
exactly. You can be inside as long as you're outside, right? Yes. That's and so I was like, wow, okay, well that was a real good thing for them to do. And there was other restaurants that they just created patio seating in downtown Denver. They shut down streets and just made it patio seating, which again was fantastic. I actually saw patio seating at an IHOP, which you never thought you'd see that, but that happened. And so when I started seeing these things, the phrase business heroes of the pandemic hit me. And I started just keeping track of everything that I saw along those lines. And then I started writing down my ideas of things that I had thought of, things that I had done in my business. And from that, the book was born. I just started writing. And I think when I got to about 3,000 words, I kind of thought, wow, this could actually turn into a book. And from there, it just went. And I did one thing really smart. I told everybody that I talked to that I was writing a book. So,
yep. Keep yourself accountable. Then you have to, right?
When you do that, what happens is the next time you see those people, they're going to say, so how's the book coming?
When's it coming out? Yeah.
And you don't want to be that guy that says, oh yeah, I gave up on that. So, that peer pressure kept me moving. But the other thing it did is it gave me a steady supply of other people to interview. And it also got me introduced to people that actually helped me get it across the finish line with, okay, how do I get this edited? How do I design this? How do I get this on Amazon? All those kinds of things, because I did not know how to do that. But I found people that did, and they helped me. So
what? Yeah, I assume that was your first. Had you ever even thought that you would ever write a book before this?
I'd played with some ideas before, and I had maybe, a paragraph or something like that, but that was about it. I've always wanted to, but This one, it just hit me square between the eyes, and it was kind of like I had to write it. And it really was. I would wake up every morning, and it was therapy for 20, 30 minutes while I was writing. So,
yeah, we've had some authors already on this show, and I always tell people to write, whether it's for public consumption or yourself. Like, writing has so many health benefits anyway, and it's so therapeutic. What did you learn from the writing process during that time?
Mainly just not giving up.
Yeah.
I learned always keep paper and a pencil with you, because you never know when you're going to get those ideas of, oh, I got to add that in. And so that was real important. I did a lot of pulling over and saying, okay, text myself something, send myself an email, whatever it was. So that was helpful. Just not being afraid to do it. And honestly, the scariest part was before I was finished, I went to my son and I said, hey, can you read this? And that was really scary. Up to then, no one had seen it.
Yeah.
And of course, then the next scary point is when it goes live and you go on Facebook and you put a link and you tell everybody, and it's like, okay, it's out there now. And
now what?
Yeah.
Did you, was there ever a moment where you were like, I don't want to, did that anxiety or that fear ever stop you? Or was it still just like, this needs to be out there?
I think it was more that, this needs to be out there. I thought it was good. And then after I had a few people read it and they said, yeah, this is good. At that point, I was like, okay, we can do this. We can get this out there. Still scary, but yeah.
But and then once it's out there, then you're like, all right, there's no going back. And I suppose just pure relief.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what's in the book and what people can learn from it, and why it's important after even the height of the pandemic?
Yeah, so even though it was written during the pandemic and for the pandemic, it is basically a guide for people to remain essential. And, that could be because there's a pandemic, because there's high inflation, because you're losing your personal job, whatever your situation is, the ideas in this book can help you. It's 12 chapters, and basically I call them rules. And so I just tell you what the rule is, and then we go through some stories of people that use the rule, how I use the rule, and just encourage people to do that. So let's see. So rule number 1, which this is basically the biggest thing, and this is what got it started, was always be looking for ways to reinvent yourself or your business. And I called that the back to the drawing board model.
So smart.
And there were so many instances in that where it was like, yes, you really need to do this. And I think I talked about in there 2 companies in particular. I talked about Blockbuster. Blockbuster was huge, over 9,000 stores. And now there's 1 store left, and it's in Oregon. They didn't do that. They didn't go back to the drawing board. I heard from somebody that at one point they had an option to buy Netflix, and they said, why would we want to do that?
Yep. Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
So that's a wow moment. The other company that I wrote about was Sears. Sears, did you know at one point, and this was in the 1930s, you could buy a house in the Sears catalog and they would ship it to you by train, and then you could build it. And if you look in the older parts of most large cities, you will see houses that actually came from the Sears catalog.
Wow.
So they've been around forever.
Yeah.
But yet they haven't pivoted, and now they're on the ropes. They're just about gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I just heard that you can buy houses from Amazon. which is insane to me.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Is I used to work for Borders Bookstore. Remember them?
Yes.
Do they make an appearance? Because they were also in your book, because they were also a company that didn't do it very well either, and suffered because of it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of examples. And then another one.
Yeah.
Another rule was use your current time to grow, and I called that the butterfly model for obvious reasons. During the pandemic, there was a lot of people that they were sidelined. So at that point, you have a choice. You can sit there on your couch and watch TV, or what some people did, they went online and they found online courses and they got a new skill. So, even though the pandemic is over, there's nothing stopping you today from doing that same thing. If you're at a job and you're not happy with it, could you do that on the evenings, on the weekends, take some classes, get some new skills, and, move into a new career? Probably.
Yeah. It's almost too easy now to learn new things and educate yourself. Like, it's so accessible.
Yeah. Without formally signing up to something, you can go to the YouTube University or the Google University, or whatever you want to call them.
Exactly. Yeah, without taking out a loan to go to college.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you have a new book.
Yes.
That just came out in June, called Higher Education Scam. So you obviously weren't too afraid after the first book that you decided to write another book.
Yes.
So congratulations on that. And what's that book about?
So the second part of the title is Debunking the Myth that everyone needs a college degree. So I'm not saying that we need to do away with college, although I'm not real happy with the way college is. But I think that people have been told for a lot of years that you need to get a college degree. Doesn't matter what it is in, you just need to get a college degree. And it's just not the truth. What you need to do is you need to figure out what you want to do, and then you need to research and find the best method to do that. It might be a 4-year degree. It might be a technical school. It might be just taking a few boot camp programs and then jumping in with both feet. But you need to find out what that is, and you do that by doing some research, talking to people that are in that job, talking to HR departments that are in those industries, finding what they really want, and then move forward with that.
Where do you think education and the education system, like the college education system, higher education, is going? Because it's getting more expensive to even register to go to college. I'm almost 40 and still paying off student loans. Like, where do you think that's going to go?
I think it's going to go to two extremes. I think that they're going to keep trying to put that model down everybody's throats. But honestly, most careers that you can get with college degree, you could probably get quicker, cheaper, and better through a technical course. Now, a perfect example of this is, so my daughter, she wanted to be a journalist. She wanted to be a TV reporter. And so she went to college, and yes, she ended up being a TV reporter. But she had to take a lot of classes that really had nothing to do with it. She had to take anthropology and geology. That really doesn't come up too much when you're doing reporting.
Yeah.
But she was fortunate. The college that she went to, they had a program that it was basically a club. And what this club did is it put out radio shows, and it put out a once a week newscast. It was a half-hour newscast. And for the 4 years that she was there, she did a couple of the radio shows. There were some friends of hers that had radio shows, so she was on those and got comfortable with that. But the TV newscast, she did every job that they had. She was a camera person. She was an anchor. She was the editor, producer. She had to go out and create stories. Everything in those newscasts she did at one time or another, and probably lots of times. So she learned more in that club than she did through her degree. And that's really what helped her get her job. So she could have done her job without most of the classes, but she would have struggled to do that job without that club.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
more things like that need to happen.
Yeah. What are you hoping that people learn and take away from both of your books after reading them?
Well, both of my books have a section in them that is about positive mental attitude. And if you've got a positive mental attitude, you will definitely go much farther in anything that you do. And that's, I mean, self-help books, that's my favorite genre to read. So, of course, that's also kind of what I write. The other thing, I just want to help people. I want someone to pick up one of my books and say, okay, my life is better because I read this book.
Yeah, that's the point of this entire show.
That's the best thing right there.
Yeah. How can people connect with you? Your books are available on Amazon, but where can they follow you and connect with you?
So all of my social media, and actually a link to one of my books, and you can get to the other one. I just haven't got it set up yet, but everything I have is at that link that's just right below me there, callduane.com. So if you go to that, it's kind of it's kind of like a starting page for everything I do. It's got links to my business, my blog, my book page, all of my social media. So it's all right there in one nice, easy place.
Okay, good. You're a busy guy, and congratulations on the new book. Thank you for the first book. I think it's really going to help people.
Thanks.
Yeah. CallDuane.com is the website, so make sure you go to that. Duane McHodgkins, everyone, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after this.
In this world of innovation, would you rather have an old, outdated flip phone or a brand new iPhone? A horse and buggy carriage or the newest luxury hybrid? A dial-up router with your AOL account or a super fast Wi-Fi hotspot? With nutrition, what you have been using or taking up until now hasn't been bad. There's just something newer. We all appreciate advancements in science and technology. In the same way we seek the best and newest in our electronics, vehicles, and everyday conveniences, wouldn't you also want the best technology and newest innovation for your nutrition and supplementation? At the time, you may have had the best from what was out there and available. Now, there is something better and newer, more bioavailable, more convenient, better tasting, faster acting. It literally is the equivalent to getting an IV full of high-tech nutrients right into your bloodstream, without the needle, without the appointment, without being attached to anything for a specific length of time. Simply pop these tasty, all-natural lozenges into your mouth and savor as they instantly start to absorb into your bloodstream through your mucous membranes. That's it. And with the added benefit of negative ions, in other words, energy, there isn't anything else out there on the market like it. Now is the time to switch to the next improvement and innovation in health and nutrition. It's time for advancement. It's time for better. It's time for APL Go and our rapid botanical DNA drops.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you, Duane, for being here. Thanks to all of our sponsors of the show. You'll see them all at the end in the credits. And it's just amazing every day when I get to look at that and see how many people support this show. And if you'd like to add your name to that list, go to buymeacoffee.com/makeyourdayricher. The link's in the comments or in the show notes, and support the show, would you? We really appreciate it because we get to grow a little bit better every single day, and which is very exciting. speaking of exciting, we have lots of exciting things today. There's a new episode of Everyday Enchantment that's out, which is a podcast by Stacey Andon. She's been on the show. I produce it and edit it. And I'm going to play a clip. Let's play a clip, shall we? Because it's really good. And it's available on YouTube and wherever you watch your podcasts or listen.
Every time you show up for yourself, every time you say, I choose to come back to love, come back to joy, come back to belonging that is supportive, collaborative. Like, what does that look like in daily practice for you? What does it sound like? Those are questions to ask yourself. Is what comes out of my mouth on a regular basis, is it in alignment with the way that I want all of us to be connected? And again, this does not mean you have to love everybody on the planet. I do love everybody on the planet, but you know what I mean. You don't have to be, everybody's not necessarily in your inner circle.
Stacey's amazing. And so go check out Everyday Enchantment. We are recording her 100th episode this afternoon, and I'm really excited and honored to be a part of that. And then we are looking at changing up her set, which is a passion of mine, set design. Clearly, I love making things look crazy, and I had an idea for her set, and so we're going to be working that this afternoon as well. Okay, Rosie, you want to come on the show? When Rosie's show went off the air in 2002, she was selling a bunch of stuff for charity, and I bought this. It's a cell of her show with her signature on the back. I love it. It hangs right up there in the studio. It's gone through many. I bought it. It's 20 some years old now. And it's one of my favorite things in the entire world. And so one day Rosie will be here on the show and we'll chat about all things like that. Okay. Also, because the contract has been signed, I get to tell you that I have a new podcast that I'm going to be producing and editing with two amazing women, Helen and Nona, and it's called The Autoimmune Campfire. We're going to start recording in a couple weeks, and it will hopefully be out in August, September, probably September. We start doing test shows in a couple weeks, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you, Helen and Nona, for taking me on this journey with you. And it's going to be really fun. And we'll be playing clips from that as well. They'll be on the show to talk about it. Very exciting. Okay, I think that's it. I love you all. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the show. It means the world to me. We're at over 8,000 views of this show, and it still is astounding every day that people are showing up, including the guests and the audience. So thank you all very much. Tomorrow, we've got a brand new show, and we're talking about trauma-sensitive movement. It's going to be a good show. We'll be right back here tomorrow morning. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Go do something good for yourself today and for other people. Go make the world a better place. I love you. Bye.